The story of Singapore. From a struggling island to a global powerhouse. In the early 1960s, Singapore was a small, swampy island in Southeast Asia. It had no natural resources, no oil, no farmland, and very little drinking water of its own. The island's population was a mix of different ethnic groups, Chinese, Malays, Indians, and others, who often struggled to find unity. Poverty and unemployment were widespread, and tension was high. When Singapore separated from Malaysia in 1965, many believed the new nation wouldn't survive. Even Singapore's founding leader, Lee Kuan Yew, wept on national television as he announced the separation. He said, "For me, it is a moment of anguish. All my life I have believed in merger and the unity of two territories. Now we are on our own." Singapore had no army, no natural resources, and no clear source of income. The streets were filled with slums, and the future seemed uncertain. But in that moment of despair, something powerful began to grow, a sense of determination. The vision of Lee Kuan Yew. Lee Kuan Yew refused to let Singapore die. He gathered a small team of dedicated ministers, men like Dr. Goh Keng Swee and S. Rajaratnam, who shared his belief that the country's greatest asset was its people. They knew Singapore could never compete in natural resources, but it could compete in education, discipline, and honesty. So, they began to build a nation not from gold or oil, but from character. Lee emphasized three core values. Clean and honest government, corruption would never be tolerated. Strong education system to make Singapore's people the best trained workforce in Asia. Unity among races, all citizens, regardless of background, would be treated equally. Building from nothing. The government worked tirelessly to attract foreign investors. They built ports, factories, and industrial zones to create jobs. Lee Kuan Yew and his team convinced international companies that Singapore would be a safe, efficient, and corruption-free place to do business. At the same time, they launched a massive public housing project under the Housing Development Board. Within a few decades, over 80% of Singaporeans would own their homes, one of the highest rates in the world. They also made Singapore one of the cleanest cities on earth. Lee famously said, "If you want to be a garden city, you must start planting." And they did. Trees were planted everywhere, turning Singapore into a green oasis among skyscrapers. Education, the key to the future. The leaders understood that to survive, Singapore had to produce intelligent, disciplined, and innovative citizens. Schools focused on science, technology, and English, the language of global business. Students were taught not only to work hard, but also to think critically and responsibly. Over time, Singapore's education system became one of the best in the world, producing doctors, engineers, and innovators who helped shape the nation's progress. Discipline, unity, and the people's spirit. Perhaps the most inspiring part of Singapore's story is its people. They worked hard, stayed disciplined, and believed in their country's vision. Cleanliness became a national habit. Respect for law and order became part of daily life. Racial harmony was protected through policies that encouraged understanding and cooperation among all ethnic groups. This unity became the foundation of national strength. A nation transformed. By the 1980s and 1990s, Singapore had become one of the fastest-growing economies in the world. Its ports were among the busiest, its airline became world-class, and its skyline transformed into a symbol of modern success. Today, Singapore ranks among the richest, safest, and most advanced countries in the world. Its people enjoy high standards of living, clean streets, and efficient governance, all because of a shared dream that began with nothing but faith and determination. The legacy. When Lee Kuan Yew passed away in 2015, millions of Singaporeans lined the streets in the rain to pay their respects. They were not just saying goodbye to a leader, they were honoring the man who taught them to believe that a nation's greatness lies not in its land, but in its people's character. The lesson of Singapore. Singapore's story reminds us that no dream is too big and no obstacle is too strong when people stand together with discipline, vision, and hope. It teaches us that you don't need to be rich to start, you just need determination. You don't need to have resources, you can create them through education and innovation. And most of all, success is not about size or luck, it's about leadership, unity, and perseverance. From a small island to a global symbol of progress, Singapore's story proves that with the right mindset, even the impossible can be achieved.